I'm going to show you how to joint or add the arms and legs onto a tiny little plushie like this pocket puppet that has a moving mouth. And you need some strong thread. You can see that this is heavy duty thread, not just regular sewing thread. And that way when we pull on it, it's not going to break. I'm going to use red so that it shows up against this pink fabric so you can see it in the video. But you would want to choose a thread color that coordinates with your plushie fur somehow, and then just scissors to cut your thread. I've got about 12, maybe 13, 14 inches of thread doubled, and it's tied in a knot. And so that's how we're going to start. I'm also using a long doll needle. This one is a 3-inch, and you just need it to be long enough to go all the way through the puppet from limb to limb. I've already got the arms on there, and I'm going to do the legs. And if you're using, my pattern has little marks of where these joints need to go. So I'm just going to take on one side, and make sure, by the way, that you line it up so that the little marks are going to go towards the center and touch the body of that little puppet. Otherwise, the feet would be pointing backwards, and that would be a bad thing. So I'm going to start on the right leg. I'm just going to take a little stitch through that little joint mark right there and pull it almost all the way. And then just to secure my knot, I'm going to pass the needle through that little loop and then tighten that down. And I've got one thread that's a little too loopy. And then that's going to secure it nicely to the leg, and we can trim off these little threads. And that's going to be hidden next to the body when we're done. So we've got the leg attached to the thread. Now I'm going to go all the way through the body, and to determine where to put your needle, you want it not all the way at the bottom here, but just about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch up, and then go from the seam to seam straight through like that. You would do the same thing with the arms. Just put them at the shoulder area, and you can go ahead and pull that now, but you don't pull it tight yet. And then you go ahead and do the same thing. Take a little stitch through the other leg. Now this is going to keep the arms and legs on, and you'll be able to move them, but this is not sturdy enough for children to play with. This is not intended for a toy. This is intended for just something like a bag charm, or something that an adult is going to have, or a child who treats their toys very nicely. And once we've got it to about here, this is enough for this type of plushie, because we're not going to have children roughhousing with it. Kids will they'll go crazy and pull on these. That's why this method is not good for a children's toy. It's not sturdy enough. But now I've pulled my thread tight. You can see how that, if you try to pull on them, they're nice and tight. If you move them, they'll hold where they are. And you might, if you can't get it, like it could be that the thread is looped inside of there, pull out on one of them and then tighten it back up, and that'll help you get it in the right place. You could repeat this and loop it through the legs again. Do this leg, through the body, through the leg. You could do that, but it's not really necessary for something that's just going to be like hanging on a bag. So now I'm going to knot it and finish it off by taking a little stitch in the body right at the behind the leg where you're not going to see it. And this is how we make our surface knot. I leave a little loop there. I'm going to pass my needle through the first loop, and you see how I'm making a second big loop here on the other side on the right. I'm going to pass my needle through that big loop too. So I've passed it through the 2 loops, and then use your needle to hold that little loop and pull your thread tight. And that will get it all the way at the surface back here. And then just pull that down. So now we've got our knot. Our legs are jointed. And to get rid of the thread tail, you could just cut it off here, but you're going to see the little thread tail. So I want to put my needle in and come out about 2 inches away, 3 inches, somewhere far away. And that's going to bury the thread inside. And then pull it tight and clip it right at the surface. And that way that little thread tail disappears into the body and it's gone. So that's how we can quickly joint the arms and legs of a tiny plushie just using a needle and thread.
Thanks.